get you a honey ride round when you're done. I'm trying to protect you from the lies that you have won. The train wreck's always sunny, you're second to none. So don't you fall alone, alone. Falling for you.
Hello, good morning guys. I'm Kun Young. I'll be taking over Wajid's motor vlog today, and I'm currently riding a 2017 CB400 Super 4 Revo. So I'll be trying my best to tell you about my experience on why I got the bike and my experience so far with the bike. Yeah, so today we'll be going to the Lim Chu Kang area, to the farms area, and we'll be making a round trip back to Choa Chu Kang again. Yep. So firstly, you know, why did I got a Super 4? So actually, you know, Super 4 is my dream bike. I've always wanted to own a Super 4. And for context, you know, I've owned this bike for almost 2 years, slightly more than 2 years now. So yeah, so Super 4 has always been my dream bike, mainly because of its retro aesthetics. And secondly, of course, for this VTEC and sound. Yeah, so this is the two main reasons why I got the bike, and I've been loving it since day one. So I'll be doing a slight pull from here. Let's go. Yeah, so as you can see, the VTEC opens at around 6,000-5,000 RPM at the thick white line area. So that's where the VTEC line opens. So yeah, so when I got my Class 2A license, the first bike I ever wanted to got is the Super 4 bike, and it's my dream bike, and got it. Let's go. So for the maintenance wise, so for 2 years I've done quite a few things with the bike. Firstly, I got a Yoshimura exhaust. I got it second hand on Carousel. I think that's a cheaper option to get it, but there's quite a number of steps to get it approved by LTA. Firstly, when you get a second-hand exhaust, you're going to check that the seller is providing you with the exhaust certificate, which matches to the code on the exhaust itself. Secondly, you need to transfer the ownership from the exhaust certification to your name. So for Yoshimura itself, the authorized dealer is Motor World at Ubi. So you need to go there, change the bike, the exhaust registration to your name, and the last step, of course, you need to go to LTA to get it registered to this bike itself, the license plate. So these are the three main steps you need to take to get the second-hand exhaust registered. So go. Yep, so that's the first thing I got. The first thing I did with the bike after I got a bike. So I upgraded the exhaust to the Yoshimura R77 exhaust, because actually the original exhaust is kind of soft, and to have the full experience you need to upgrade to the Yoshimura exhaust. So if I'm not wrong, the Yoshimura R77 exhaust is only licensed up to the 2017 Revo, and beyond that, the newer versions, there are other exhaust options, aftermarket exhaust options for the bike itself. So more maintenance wise, I do regular oil change every 5 to 6,000 kilometers with 4 liters of engine oil. I mainly use the 10W40 or 10W50 viscosity range, and the brand I use is Maxima. And normally I have my servicing done at Panjang Garage. I think many of you would know that for CB400 is one of the main guys to go to for your servicing and repairs. So during my 2 years of ownership, I think there has not been much of a major concern. It has been relatively a smooth journey. But I've done two major, not really major, but two major wear and tear parts. I think firstly is the magnetic coil. Yeah, so actually, for Super 4, there are few things to watch out for if you own this bike. Firstly is the magnetic coil, to ensure that the bike is charged properly. So magnetic coil is one of the main headaches of Super 4. And normally people change it, I think once every 2 years, but it's hard to monitor unless you have a voltmeter to ensure that it's in the healthy range of around, I'm not sure you can see it, I have a voltmeter installed. Currently it's at around 13.9 volts. So yeah, this is the optimal riding voltage, around 13.5 to 14. And when you start up the bike, it's roughly around 11.5 volts. So this is the healthy range, ensuring that the rectifier, the rectifier, the battery, and the magnetic coil is working properly, to ensure that the bike is charged up. So yeah, the first common issues for Super 4 is the magnetic coil. So I've changed it twice in my ownership, and it's one of the expensive wear and tears of the bike. One new magnetic coil for Revo cost around 500 Sing dollars. And at the same time, when you change the magnetic coil, the mechanic will check its rectifier and the battery to ensure that all three are working properly. Secondly, you need to watch out for is the fuel pump. So fuel pump is another thing that you need to check to ensure that your bike is functioning properly. So the symptoms for that is that you feel that the bike is choking even though it has fuel inside the fuel tank. And of course some riders would say that there's some hissing noise from the tank itself that shows the clear warning that the fuel pump is deteriorating. Yeah, so far for me, the most expensive part I've changed is the magnetic coil for sure. Other than that, it's all mainly wear and tear parts, the disc brakes, the tires, the brake pads. Yeah, so that one all is common stuff when you own a bike. And for the cost itself is relatively expensive to me, coming from a 2B bike. And I, from my experience, if I'm talking to Wazir itself, I think.
You want to stop at the bus stop in front?
Yeah, sure, we can try. Yeah, we can stop there. Yeah, so from interacting with him, the cost wise, I think it's relatively similar to a Class 2 bike. Own second-hand motorcycles, and luckily both motorcycles have been relatively reliable. So from my own experience, I think different people have different way of doing it. For me, of course, I look at the exterior conditions, such as the handlebars, ensuring that it's not crooked, whether the bike has been dropped. I think bike being dropped is not too much of my concern, because I believe that most bikes have been dropped before, and ultimately it's just cosmetic damages. Just take a listen at the engine sound. There's no weird noises coming from the engine, no clicking sound. Rev the bike a few times. Yeah, because I think engine is the main concern when it comes to owning the bike, because if you have a overhaul on a bike, especially a 4-cylinder Super 4 bike, you're gonna cost you maybe around $3,000 to $5,000, just to get it fully overhauled. So of course sometimes it plays a bit of luck. So listen to the engine noise, look at the mileage. I think from that perspective you get an overall feel of the bike. If you are given the opportunity, ride the bike, and from then on you will know how the bike feels like, and you have a better gauge lah. And of course look at a few bikes, go to different shops. The traffic is a bit heavy today because it's public holiday. People are out cycling in this part of Singapore. Whoa, whoa, whoa. you know, you should buy a Super 4 when you just got your Class 2A license. So I think that's a question that I think many of you might have, even for myself, because there's a few options now. There's the Kawasaki ZX4RR, Yamaha R3, Honda Super 4, DRZ. There's quite a number of options actually. But my point is that, you know, just get a bike that you really enjoy riding. I think this should be your main thought when owning the bike. You don't need to really think of what other people say when owning the bike, whether it's a common bike, or whether it's a beginner's bike. Just get something that you really like. But if you dive deeper to these questions on the technical side of things, of course, you know, you take in pricing, you take in the cost of maintenance, take in the performance. Then, you know, these questions will get a little bit more complicated. So on the cost perspective, you know, comparing the Super 4 to a Class 2 bike, I think it's relatively similar to in terms of a MT-09. You know, we don't talk about all those high-end super bikes like the CBR 1000RR, all those little bikes. We don't compare to that sort of range, but you take into a closer range of, you know, 600cc or 900cc bike. I think the cost of maintenance, I think, is rather similar. The oil change for these bikes, 4 liters of engine oil. For a fully synthetic engine oil, it costs around 25 Sing dollars per liter, so you add up around $100 per servicing. If you include your oil filter, that will cost another $20. So it will cost around approximately $120 per servicing, which I believe is quite similar to a Class 2 entry level bike. I'll not say entry level, but a Class 2 bike. And the fuel consumption for this bike is around, from my experience, is around 23 kilometers per liter. So it's also not that fuel efficient if you compare to other Class 2A bikes. I'll say maybe closer to the range of Class 2. So from my perspective, you know, the maintenance, the cost of ownership would be rather similar to maybe an MT-09. So, you know, if you are thinking to upgrade to a Class 2 bike, from a cost standpoint, it's rather similar. For me, the reason I got this because I really like it. I really like the Super 4 bike, so I just got it. Yeah. And I think, you know, there's a lot of options nowadays, so okay, take a look at other options, whether you like a sports bike or like a road bike. But I believe that, you know, Super 4 would be a legendary of a bike because, you know, you have VTEC, you have, you know, classic analog meters, which is very rare for bike nowadays, right? So most likely I would keep this bike till its COE ends, and maybe I'll renew it, who knows. As of now, I don't have any plans to upgrade to a class 2 bikes. But you know, if you travel up north, you feel that it's quite insufficient in terms of its power. For me personally, I've been to KL twice and up to Genting Highlands once with this bike, and I found it a bit slow because you know my friend here Wajid riding a class 2 MT-09 bike. It's very hard for you to keep up lah, in terms of acceleration, overtaking. Of course, you know, you can go at 170, 160 and cruise at that speed. You still can do it with a class 2A bike, but I feel that it'll be more enjoyable riding a class 2 bike. And with the Yoshimura exhaust, I know definitely my ears hurts. So when I ride up north, I will put on a earplug to protect my eardrums, because your ears will bleed, you know, with the VTEC sound. If you have any more questions about the bike, or the ownership of a class 2A bike, on Super 4, or any other concerns you have with the bike, I'm happy to share. You can leave it in the comment section. I'll try to answer them, or I'll get Wajid to answer them. Let's go a bit faster. Where the VTEC kicks in. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you subscribe to Wajid's channel, and have a great day. Bye bye.